What if Master Chief from Halo was trained as a Jedi? Let's explore the depths of it in the video. Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan survey the destruction left over from the recent battles on Mandalore as the great civil war that tore the planet apart has come to an end. Satine Kryze has now been made the new Duchess of Mandalore, and those remaining warriors who fought against her are given a choice: to back down and accept her as the new ruler, or to follow their brothers in exile to the moon of Concordia. Most of them opt for the latter, and the Jedi watch as the Mandalorians are escorted under guard to their new home. But as Qui-Gon observes them, he frowns at the sight of one warrior, younger than most. His name is John, and he is only 9. But he already has his helmet, and some reports claim he fought in the reserves of the army during the last few battles, and fought well. But it isn't just his age that catches the Jedi Master's attention. There's something about him, a power that is unlike any of the other Mandalorians. Upon his orders, the guards pull him aside, though the other warriors bristle at this. None of them speak out. According to the reports, John's clan was wiped out during the war, leaving him an orphan.
"You there, boy. I pulled you aside to ask you something. If you step on that ship, you shall be forbidden from ever returning to Mandalore. Are you prepared to accept that?"
This is the way.
The way of your people. But there are other ways. What stops you from accepting this position?
They want to take my armor. My teacher, she said that to remove my armor and my helmet means that I shall no longer be a Mandalorian. I won't do it.
Then I will not force you. Perhaps there is a way for you to keep your armor, but find a different path away from exile. Would you allow me to conduct a test on you?
John hesitates, glancing at the ship where the other Mandalorians are preparing to depart. He should think of them as his people, his brothers and sisters who will follow the same path as him. But he doesn't. The closest thing to family he has is the armorer and her tribe, but they were supposedly all wiped out in the war. He glances at Qui-Gon and nods. The Jedi Master kneels and takes a blood sample from the boy. Though Obi-Wan regards him warily, he takes the test and processes the results. His midichlorian count is high enough to be a Jedi. When Qui-Gon shows the results to John, he makes an offer to take the boy with him, where he may train within the Jedi Order. He will not be exiled, but he shall have another group to call his family. The young Mandalorian hesitates. On one hand, the Jedi are the same people who had warred with his people, who butchered his clan and driven them into exile. He should hate them and want them dead. On the other hand, there is no denying their strength and abilities. He's seen Qui-Gon several times on the battlefield, and though he calls himself a peacekeeper, he's shown to be a masterful warrior. To train with the likes of him would be a great honor. And it's not like he has a tribe to return to. He slowly nods his head, and the boy finds himself on a very different ship heading towards a different destiny. When he arrives in the Jedi Temple, the Council are understandably reluctant to train one so old, and who just fought in a war directly opposing them.
"Most unusual this is. A foe this one was not long ago. Harbor hidden anger, he may."
I sense no such anger in the boy, but I do sense something else. Power and strength. I believe he has already harnessed these powers. He just has not used them. And yet none of our reports indicate any of the Mandalorians using the Force. Not in the ways we understand. But there is always more than meets the eye. If you do not believe me, then allow me to test the boy.
One person who vouches for Qui-Gon is his former master, Count Dooku, who agrees and even helps design it. Instead of a standard test expected from the Jedi, he arranges one more akin to a combat situation, something John might be more accustomed to. The test is presented in an obstacle course around the temple, filled with training droids armed with blasters. The tint on John's helmet settings are adjusted so he cannot see what is happening in front of him before releasing him out. Soon, blaster fire fills the air as droids rush him, but John is ready. He has a blaster pistol in hand and begins to fire at them. Despite being nearly blind and deaf, nothing seems to impair his senses. The young warrior whirls through the halls, dodging blaster fire and knowing where to shoot. At times, the droids swarm him and prepare to mob him, raining blaster fire from all directions, but John proves to be resourceful too. He grabs a fallen metal plate and uses it as a shield, then uses a fallen training droid as a decoy, letting him destroy the droids before they realize what's happening. By the end of the test, John stands over nearly 30 training droids that have all been wiped out. The other Jedi are shocked. Some call it luck, others say it's coincidence. but Qui-Gon thinks it's more. He thinks it's the Force itself guiding him, as if he can see the way it is flowing, just like Mace's Shatterpoint. Regardless, the Jedi agree to take him in, and he is soon joined by another unprecedented candidate, Anakin Skywalker, who was also found by Qui-Gon. Unfortunately, the Master who brought them together does not live to see his work come to fruition, as he is killed during a mission on Naboo, leaving both boys to be trained by the Jedi Order. While their strength in the Force is undeniable, the two cannot be more different. Anakin grew up in a world of chaos and uncertainty, making it difficult for him to adjust to the rigidity of the Jedi. Meanwhile, Jon spent his early years with the Mandalorians, learning discipline and order from a young age. He adapts quickly to the rules of the Jedi Order, even if he doesn't agree with them. But Anakin is more gifted in the Force. He can master different Force techniques with ease, being able to harness them effortlessly. On the other hand, Jon struggles to use the Force in combat and practical applications. The spiritual side of it is entirely lost on him, as he views things with the eyes of the soldier. Even their mission sets are different, as Anakin prefers missions where he can help people, fighting with his heart and wanting to make a difference. Jon prefers missions related to combat, whether it's hunting down pirates or dealing with border disputes. But regardless, the two become the most promising young Jedi in the Order, and those skills are soon put to the test with the outbreak of the Clone Wars. The two find themselves thrown into combat right away, as Dooku rallies the CIS to his side, unleashing its vast droid armies upon the Republic. Here, Jon is the first to sign up to lead the new clone army, and proves himself worthy of the task. Unlike other Jedi who struggle with leading their forces, he takes to combat quickly. Jon gains a reputation as a Force warrior, able to use battle meditation to its fullest effect, letting him rally his outnumbered troops and use Shatterpoints to pinpoint enemy weaknesses. He is often reported to have led his troops from the front, taking elite units to smash into the enemy's weakest point to achieve victory. The Republic Command soon takes note of these victories and places him in command of an elite Special Forces unit instead of an army. This comes with the rank of Master Chief. Yet, with Master Chief and Anakin leading their forces, the CIS are slowly being pushed back. However, Palpatine observes all of this from his office. He continues to toy with his plan as one thing becomes clear. Men like the Master Chief and Skywalker are the exception rather than the norm. All across the war from both sides, he sees nothing but foolishness and incompetence. Whether it's cowardly Nute Gunray or rigid Luminara Unduli, he sees the galaxy is filled with fools unfit for the power and authority they are given. None of this will do for his future empire. He wishes to create an empire of strength, where only those worthy can live. This war proved just how many unworthy there are, but it just might make the ideal culling ground, too. While most of the galaxy has joined in the war in some way, shape, or form, some major factions have agreed to sit out the conflict, watching from the sidelines. One were the Hutts, but there were others in wild space, the Covenant Empire. Palpatine had his agents contact these aliens before and learned that they are fanatically religious and even more xenophobic, ruled by a powerful caste of prophets, one whom he was able to form a personal relationship with. The office is dimly lit as Supreme Chancellor Palpatine stands alone. Before him, shimmering in a holoprojector, are the imposing figures of the Covenant Hierarchs, the ruling prophet of the Covenant Empire. At the center of the projection, the Prophet of Truth, flanked by the Prophets of Regret and Mercy, lean forward. His expression is unreadable, but the disdain in his voice is unmistakable.
Your kind is unworthy of the mantle, Chancellor. A species of apostates, blind to the majesty of the Forerunners. You've spilled blood across your galaxy, yet you know nothing of the sacred path.
Indeed, Your Holiness. The Republic is a festering hive of decadence and corruption. The Jedi, in particular, are arrogant, deluded, and blind to truth.
The Jedi are the worst of them all. Who are they to claim that they are the guardians of the galaxy? As if we should follow their dogma. They deny the great journey as they deny all things greater than themselves. If you wish to even begin atoning for your sins, then you shall order their execution at once.
You are right, great prophet. I do not serve them. The Jedi are an obstacle, a necessary one for now, but one that will soon be removed. And once they are gone, The rest of my people, the weak, the undeserving, will follow.
A murmur ripples through the gathered prophets, intrigued by his words.
You see the truth, then. Humanity is a plague, unfit to bask in the divine light of the Forerunners.
Yes, and that is why I offer you a proposition. While the Republic is at war with the Confederacy, you will strike. You will bring the fires of divine retribution to purge this galaxy of the unworthy. In exchange, I will give you something no warship, no weapon, no holy scripture can provide. The location of the Ark.
A hush falls over the council chamber on High Charity. Then, slowly, the Prophet of Truth leans forward, his eyes gleaming with curiosity.
You know of the Ark?
Palpatine's fingers twitch beneath his robes, but his face betrays no hesitation. Inside, he is laughing. Though the Covenant prided themselves on their technological prowess, the truth is that they are dependent on reverse engineering all of the technology from the Forerunners.
I do. It is hidden deep within the unknown regions. You may take your entire armada there and explore for 1,000 years, and you will never find it.
The prophets whisper among themselves in their native tongues. The Ark is the gateway to the Great Journey, the place where the Forerunner's divine plan will be enacted, if what Palpatine says is true. Yet the Prophet of Truth remains silent. He considers the risks and the rewards of this endeavor. He knows Palpatine and knows that such an alliance will not come without a price. He is no believer of the Great Journey and would never betray his Republic unless he had something to gain. He would need to take precaution to ensure that this would not cost the Covenant anything either. But at last, he lifts his head.
And so, we shall go to war.
Soon enough, the Covenant fleet strikes, cutting right into the heart of the Inner Rim, just as the Republic is fighting the CIS in the Outer Rim. The skies above Duro, one of the core worlds of the Republic, are ablaze. The Covenant fleet, a monstrous armada of battlecruisers, destroyers, and assault carriers, descend upon the planet like a swarm of locusts. The Republic Navy, already stretched thin fighting the Separatists, scrambles to mount a defense. The first wave of Seraph fighters and Phantom dropships streak through the void. Plasma torpedoes tear through Acclamator-class assault ships, their shields burning away like parchment. On the ground, Jedi generals and clone commanders organize a last stand. ATTEs fire their cannons skyward, blasting apart incoming Covenant dropships. ARC troopers plant their explosives along key points, attempting to slow the alien advance. Even his elite units struggle to hold the line. But it is hopeless. The Covenant do not take prisoners. Legions of Sangheili elites storm the battlefield, igniting their energy swords and cutting through clone troopers with terrifying precision. Brute chieftains wielding gravity hammers slash aside Republic troopers while ordering their warriors to move forward. Grunts flood the city streets, overwhelming defenders with sheer numbers. Jackals advance in close formation, stopping only to loot the cities that fall. The Jedi fight valiantly, their lightsabers clashing against the storm, but then the bombardment begins. From orbit, a Covenant supercarrier opens fire with its glassing beam. A brilliant pillar of plasma lances downward, vaporizing entire city blocks in an instant. The air ignites, buildings crumble, and the surface of Doro becomes molten slag. In less than 2 days, the planet is lost. The news spreads like wildfire across the galaxy. Worlds burn. The CIS cheer on this victory, eagerly aligning themselves with the Covenant Empire, coordinating their movements with them and sending their droid legions to assist them. The Republic could not handle the war on two fronts, especially with empires as vicious as them. They make deep inroads within Republic space, conquering planets left and right and leaving nothing but charred ash. The Jedi are unused to fighting a war like this. The Covenant are not like any other foe. They are vicious and fanatically devoted to their cause. Jiralhani summoned incredible bursts of strength, while Sanghali throws themselves into combat. Even the Ungoi gladly sacrifice themselves to destroy targets. With the Confederacy and the Covenant now aligned, even Anakin and Master Chief cannot hold back the tide. Palpatine watches from the shadows. The culling has begun, and so does the salvation. The beings strong, skilled, useful, and wealthy are given advanced warning and allowed to evacuate. Palpatine also begins to move the industrial base to the Republic there, moving factories, shipyards, and other critical infrastructure away from the fighting. Here he can build his empire in secret, out of range from the Halo array. While it wipes out most of the Covenant, Palpatine can sweep in and reconquer the galaxy. But there is one individual he's particularly interested in saving, Anakin Skywalker. The young Jedi stood above the rest, proving himself to be an excellent warrior and an even better Force user. He will be useful. Now it is only a matter of pulling him away from the front lines. However, the Jedi is currently stationed on Mandalore alongside Obi-Wan and Master Chief. Although the planet declared neutrality, the Covenant changed things, as it became abundantly clear the Covenant would not respect it, so the Republic forces were stationed there as Mandalore was selected for a joint offense by the CIS and Covenant. The skies above Mandalore are torn apart by war. From the cockpit of his Jedi interceptor, Anakin Skywalker weaves between the twisted wreckage of a burning battleship, its metal husk splitting apart under Covenant plasma fire. But that was just one among hundreds of ships battling in the sky. On the ground, the Republic garrison fights a desperate battle. Clone troopers, Mandalorian resistance fighters. As Obi-Wan leads the defenses, helping evacuate who he can and organize the defenders, the Chief strikes out and goes on the attack. The clones under his command launch raids against the Covenant and CIS military. They board ships and plant explosives, sabotage bases, and secure vital footholds on the nearby moon. These slow the assault, but never fully stops them. Each day, the Covenant and droid forces draw closer to the city, and thousands pay the price for each delay. But it is also a sharp lesson for the Covenant. Many had expected an easy victory as the Mandalorians have no military, but the garrison deployed there puts up a stubborn resistance, and for the first time, they face an enemy who simply doesn't break. Instead, the garrison holds out for a day longer than expected, then 2, and then a week. The Republic takes notice and begins sending reinforcements. From a quick victory, this battle is turned into a slogging match between the two, leaving the planet's barren landscape littered with the burning wreckage of Covenant, CIS, and Republic ships alike. While Anakin and Obi-Wan fight on Mandalore itself, Master Chief leads raiding parties into Concordia. There he destroys a Covenant resupply base and assassinates the commander. This will prevent supplies from reaching the Covenant for another week. But as he prepares to depart, one of his troopers detects something. Casualties along areas they weren't operating, and supposed movement within the cave system. The Chief thinks back to his time on Mandalore. He knows the warriors were to live in exile here. Could a few have survived? He begins to send soldiers to investigate, and they soon find more charred bodies of droids and Covenant soldiers, but also tracks, and his men follow them into the caves where they suddenly see blaster fire rushing at them. Master Chief acts first, activating his wrist shield and deflecting the first few attacks. But just as quickly as they begin, do the attacks halt. Suddenly, he watches as several Mandalorians step forward, their blasters smoking. At their head, the armorer steps forward and crosses her arms.
So, my young foundling lives after all, and you've returned home.
This is the way. But the Covenant and their allies have invaded.
Indeed. Their forces attacked us day and night. We have been pushed back to these caves.
Then help us. The Republic fights the same enemy as you. Let us share this struggle.
That depends, young one. I do not trust them. I will only work with one of our own. Are you still one of us?
I am.
Have you ever removed your helmets in front of anyone?
No, I haven't.
Then you are still part of our tribe. I will gather my forces and join you.
Their help does not come soon enough, as seeing their slow progress on Mandalore, Supreme Commander Thel Vadami is ordered to launch a full-scale attack. At dawn, the CIS droid army advances from the east, AAT tanks rolling over burning wreckage as the droid army advances forward. From the west, Thel Vadami, Supreme Chancellor of the Covenant Fleet, launches his full-scale ground assault. Zealots wielding energy swords cut through the Republic command posts, while brute stalkers cloak and ambush. Jedi in the ruins. Phantoms streak overhead, deploying hunters and a legion of grunts and jackals. Yet the defenders do not break. From the walls of Sundari, Obi-Wan Kenobi commands Republic forces, orchestrating the resistance. His blue lightsaber deflects a barrage of plasma bolts as he leads ARC troopers in counterattacks, cutting down squads of jackals and grunts. Beside him, Master Chief is a force of nature. Clad in Mandalorian armor, his movements are impossibly efficient. He searches for every possible shatter point and sends men out to try and break them. His modified DC-17 interchangeable weapon system barks with deadly precision, dropping brutes and B-2 battle droids alike. Anakin is everywhere, cutting down droid commandos, dueling Sangheili honor guards, and leading Republic gunships on bombing runs. His reckless bravery turns the tide again and again, and for the first time the illusion of Covenant invincibility shatters. For days, the Republic and Mandalorian resistance holds the line. Their defense shakes the galaxy. Then, the Armorer arrives. A fleet of Mandalorian warships appears from the horizon. The Armorer reinforcements. With air support, the Mandalorians launch hit-and-run attacks, crippling CIS supply lines and striking Covenant landing zones. Yet, with this newfound aid, the battle remains desperate. The Armorer herself locks herself in her forge, arming new Mandalorian warriors with Beskar, while her men rally the citizens of Sundari, urging them to take up arms once more. But the greatest aid comes within the Covenant itself. In the most fearsome battles, suicide units are deployed to break the front lines, leading to catastrophic casualties for no real gain. Watching his warriors sacrificed needlessly, the warlord recognizes the lie. The prophet's promise of glory mean nothing. The Covenant is not invincible, and they are dying for nothing. Atriox decides that he has had enough. On the battlefield, Atriox's brutes betray their Sangheili masters, turning on them with spikers and gravity hammers, and in the dawn's early light, crosses over to the Republic. There, he promises to raise his people against the Covenant, and soon mutiny spreads within their ranks. At first, it is just a few packs of Drahani, but soon Ungoi follow, finally angered by the poor living conditions. The Jackals followed, bribed with the promise of riches, and even some Sangheili joined. Upset at the slow progress of their campaign, Atriox and his forces even begin to raid the droid forces, their strength easily letting them mow through the battle droids who they once called their allies. Tensions begin to flare, and some even threaten to turn on their troops in the Covenant camp. Thelvadami, though an unparalleled warrior, realizes he cannot break Mandalore. Mandalore stands. For the first time, the Covenant advance was halted. Yet even as the Republic achieves its great victory, Palpatine is already orchestrating his next move. Though Anakin and Obi-Wan and Master Chief are set to be deployed in other systems, Anakin is called away by Palpatine.
Anakin, an urgent matter requires your attention. Senator Amidala is among those marked for evacuation. You are instructed to escort her to safety.
Anakin's blood runs cold, but as Anakin departs, the two continue their war effort, gathering their army, now bolstered by the Armorer and Atriox's forces. They begin a counteroffensive. Yet, amidst the chaos, one person remains silent, Count Dooku. Watching Mandalore and so many other systems burn, he begins to have second thoughts. He indeed wished to change the Republic, but this is nothing like he imagined. There is no reform here, just simple destruction on a scale he never wanted before. As it continues, he begins to have his doubts. Meanwhile, Thelvadami suffers a far worse fate. For his failure to defeat the Republic on Mandalore, he is stripped of his rank and proclaimed Arbiter. His goal is now to break the deadlock and to find the coordinates to the Ark. The defeat on Mandalore showed them they could not afford to fight this drawn-out war. Because of that, Dooku sees no other option but a drastic solution: to contact the others for help. He contacts Obi-Wan as their forces prepare to depart Mandalore. There, he explains everything to them about Palpatine's plan with the Ark and the Covenant.
The Ark is the key to Palpatine's plan. It is not merely a relic. It is a weapon designed to purge the galaxy of life. The coordinates to its location are stored within Palpatine's databanks. If we do not destroy them, the Covenant will use it to destroy all, thinking it will ascend them into godhood.
And you expect us to trust you? You led the CIS, slaughtered Republic forces, and my men bled for that. Now suddenly you have a change of heart.
I sought to change the Republic, not annihilate it. What Palpatine is orchestrating is not war. It is a culling, and none of us will be spared once he decides we are no longer useful. I think you, of all people, can understand that, War Master.
If the Ark is as powerful as you claim, we can't afford to ignore this.
I have the coordinates to Palpatine's databanks. We must move swiftly before he learns of our plan.
Meanwhile, on the Emperor's station, Thelvadami kneels before Palpatine, the weight of his recent disgrace heavy upon him. Stripped of his former rank, he is now the Arbiter. A blade cast into the fire, but the Chancellor offers salvation.
The Jedi and their allies seek to undermine the Great Journey.
I sense them making their move now. The prophets have cast you aside. I offer you a chance to prove them wrong. Stand with me, and you shall have your vengeance.
The Arbiter clenches his fists, but says nothing. He has lost everything. Now, perhaps, he can reclaim purpose. Palpatine's hooded gaze darkens as he turns away. He reaches for his communicator and contacts Anakin as well.
My boy, I have information that points to treachery. The Master Chief is working with Dooku and a Covenant insurgent group to raid one of our stations. We have formed a temporary alliance with one of the Covenant leaders to destroy them, but he needs help. Come to me at once.
As Dooku, Obi-Wan, Master Chief, and Atriox infiltrate the station, moving through the darkened halls as Dooku guides them to the databanks, his lightsaber is ready. But as he activates the terminal, the alarm blares. The doors open, and the Arbiter walks out of the entrance, energy sword ready. Atriox steps forward, chainbreaker in hand.
I was cast aside as well. Will you continue to be their pawn?
The Arbiter hesitates, but does not lower his weapon. After a moment, he lunges forward, energy sword thrusting out. Obi-Wan shoves Atriox aside and takes the blow, blocking it with his lightsaber. But the larger Sangheili pushes him aside. Atriox rushes in with his gravity mace, each blow sending shockwaves across the ground. Dooku and Master Chief prepare to join them, but a bolt of electricity forces them to scatter as Palpatine joins them. He cackles madly as he readies his lightsaber.
My apprentice, it seems I was wrong to have thought you worthy of salvation. Is that what you call it? Salvation? You like to mock the Hierarchs as mad, but I see the same delusions of grandeur in your eyes. Insolent fool. Is this a delusion?
He unleashes another burst of lightning, but Master Chief steps forward, and he suddenly has his lightsaber in hand, a green blade that absorbs the energy and steps forward.
And what will you do, foolish boy?
Finish this fight.
He and Dooku spring forward, lightsabers flashing as Palpatine moves to defend himself, parrying their strikes and redirecting them aside. Dooku moves ahead, letting his elegant fighting style carry him forward, thrusting and sliding against the Chancellor, who slides through each attack. That is where Master Chief steps forward and brings his lightsaber down, trying to slash at him and tries to take him down. But the blow is kept back by Palpatine, who laughs and shoves back. The Mandalorian leaps back and ducks under the follow-up swing, forcing Palpatine to turn to his defense and block his strike. He riposts and throws him back. Dooku twists and turns his strike into a block, preventing Palpatine from advancing any further, but unable to breach his defenses. Meanwhile, Master Chief rushes in, watching as the Force flows around him and rushes it again. He sidesteps Palpatine's attack and thrusts his lightsaber forward. The Chancellor barely intercepts this strike, but this allows Dooku to come in and graze his neck. Meanwhile, the Arbiter is also facing similar problems as Obi-Wan, and Atriox bears down on him, their weapons flashing and draining his shields as he tries to avoid their strikes. He sweeps it widely and forces them to scatter. The Arbiter rushes towards Atriox first, rushing into his defenses. Although Atriox is stronger and tries to bring his mace down, they are too close, and the Arbiter rams his head against him. He turns just in time to see Obi-Wan rushing towards him and blocks his strike. Then the doors at the far end of the chamber open. Anakin strides in, his blue lightsaber igniting with a snap hiss. His gaze flicks between Palpatine and his former allies.
You see, my boy, they seek to betray me, to undo all that we have built. I evacuated the Senate to preserve order, to maintain stability. They wish to throw the galaxy into chaos.
Who are you to decide who lives and dies?
He is evacuating the Senate to save those who he deems worthy, boy.
No, you're lying. What does the word of a Sith Lord amount to?
Not much. Yet he claims to want to destroy the Covenant. But here he stands with the Covenant commander who nearly destroyed you on Mandalore.
It's an alliance of convenience.
Whose convenience? Yours or the Chancellor's?
It is true. He would destroy the galaxy if you let him. What he offers the Covenant is a weapon of mass destruction. If the Covenant reaches it, he will cleanse the galaxy of all life. Lies! It is our salvation. One that will cleanse the galaxy of the heretics and speed us to divinity. And yet you require one of those heretics to take you to your salvation.
Silence.
They once said that our deaths would speed our journey to divinity. And look how many of my brothers I had to bury.
The Arbiter looks at his weapon, then back at Atriox, at the battle raging around them. With a slow, deliberate movement, he turns his weapon towards him. Palpatine's expression twists into fury.
You dare betray me?
His crimson blade ignites, and in a flash of speed, he lunges. The battle erupts. Master Chief rushes forward and blocks his strike meant for the Arbiter. He shoves the Chancellor back, who responds with a burst of lightning. Chief's armor absorbs some of the blast, but the power behind it sends him skidding across the chamber. But before he can finish him off, Anakin leaps up and slashes at Palpatine, who whirls back. The Chancellor glares at him and sneers.
You disappoint me, young one.
As he activates his comlink, several royal guards emerge, but Obi-Wan and Atriox rush at them. This leaves Dooku and Anakin free to rush the Chancellor, who meets their attacks with a thunderous crash of raw power that leaves the entire station shaking from their blows. The Arbiter and Master Chief move to flank them, their weapons flashing. With 4 powerful warriors coming at them, Palpatine finds his defenses stretched to their breaking point. He tries his best to halt their attacks, but each time he halts one, another finds a hole in his defenses. Until, at last, the Arbiter scores a blow at his side. He sweeps his lightsaber at him, but the Arbiter slides out of the way. Dooku takes his place and raises his lightsaber over his head, lifting it and pushing it aside. Master Chief and Anakin both drive their lightsabers into his chest. With Palpatine dead, the group destroys the station and leaves the information about the Ark destroyed. Meanwhile, the Banished rally alongside the Republic and begin to push the Covenant back. Even Dooku and the CIS withdraw, seeing the destruction of the very worlds they wish to exploit. The Arbiter soon returns to Covenant space and exposes the Prophet's lies. With the Arbiter on one side and Atriox on the other, the Covenant fractures while Dooku organizes a peace deal between the CIS and the Republic. And with the support of the newly formed Banished, he imposes the reforms he wishes. That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you want to accompany us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.